Hello everyone, welcome to week 3. We are actually walking into week 3 starting tomorrow. Hopefully everyone got your opinion paper turned in. I've read a couple of them and so far I have to tell you I'm very impressed with your writing, the level of writing, academic writing, so I really appreciate that. Great sites were being used and just a real good level of writing, so thank you for that. And if anyone has any questions about anything, please contact me about your paper. Again, a couple of people contacted me about Grammarly. They were able to put their paper through Grammarly, and the other AssignSafe, that seemed to work out okay. This is my first time using that one within Blackboard, so I appreciate you. If you have any problems with that, please let me know. I didn't. I usually have people do it and then send it in to me, but this is the first time I actually attached it to one of our assignments. So it looks like everyone's able, so far, it's about more than half of you have turned it in. It's about 8 o'clock now on Sunday evening. It looks like, a lot more than half of you turned it in. So looks like it worked. Yay. I love when things work. So we're going into next week, and next week it's our first class that I'm going to be turning the class over to you, and we're going to be learning from each other, and that's part of this. What I'm hoping is that each one of us has something to share about the Proposition 13 and Worst to First video. And also, but I want you to somehow tie it into your LCAP or your local control funding formula in your district or your school, how things have changed, because you could see once you watch that little video, First from Worst, you could see the Proposition 13, how it took away so much funding from our schools. And then you're going to, the difference is stark between the local control funding formula and Prop 13. So if you could address that somehow in your 3 minutes, and it might be fluid, it just depends. You know, if we ask questions, I might be asking you questions. I'm going to absolutely ask people to ask questions, okay? So be prepared to be listening and to ask the presenters questions about it. And I don't mean, this isn't a grill. We're not going to grill people. Because we're all learning. Okay, so this is I'm not trying to catch you in not knowing something. What I want to do is, my hope is that you're learning from each other. Every single time I do this, people go, oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't know that. That's the point. And if you don't know something, just say it. I don't know. I don't know that. I'm not expecting you to know everything. I'm expecting you to be a contributor to this discussion. So that'll be one of 2 times. We'll either have you at 6 o'clock or at 7:30. And by now you should have definitely should have contacted your partners. The partners that you have, I have 2 groups of 3 and the rest of you are in groups of 2, just how it worked out and the times and everything that I just needed more people in the different groups. I need more people in the 6 o'clock and 7:30. So hopefully I got it pretty even. It looks like it's pretty even, the amount of people, so the times will go well. So you should have by now. If you didn't, please contact your partners. I did the one big only complaint I ever get from people. Typically, these are 2 complaints I get from people, and I'll tell you because this is not directed at this class because we haven't started it yet. The 2 big complaints I get from people is, one is the lack of communication from their partners. And people get very nervous when their grades depend on this and other people are not responding. So that's the biggest complaint I get. And the other one is that I do get concerns from people that contact me saying that their partners are not pulling their weight in the assignments. So take this very seriously. It's just, you're in this class for 2 months roughly, and you only have a few assignments to do with somebody. So this is your opportunity to show people what kind of leader you're going to be. Because when we're leaders, we don't blow people off. You don't blow anyone off. You give your word, and this is your word. Your word is participating with the students in our class. That's how you give your word. If you're not participating, you're not. It's kind of your role. You need to be participating. I've had people contact me in the past and say I have these things going on. Stuff has happened. Stuff has come up. Absolutely, those things happen. I'm not talking about the exceptions to the rule. I'm talking about who you are as a leader and the type of leader you're developing into. So one of the things that I have what I do is I always keep my word, even to the point where I wear myself down sometimes because I tell people I'm going to do something, and I do it because I want to make sure I keep my word. We've all been around administrators and colleagues who say something and tell you they're going to do something, and you know they don't, and then you're disappointed and you lose a little respect for them. Well, treat this class and all your classes, treat this class like that as well, because people do count on you. And ironically, you never know where you're going to run into someone again. And so your leadership is how you are developing it right now. I've studied leadership for years and years, and actually I think I'd mentioned I even wrote my dissertation on the topic of leadership. But leadership is, it's constant. It's not just a thing you're going to go out and be a leader. You don't wake up one day, hey, I'm going to be a leader. It's how you act, how you come across to other people, how you treat other people. Leadership is getting people to influence, the positive influence you can have on other people so that they follow you. So you're making a good influence on people. Hopefully you're a good leader. So hopefully you're making a good impact on people that are following you. So that I can't stress it enough to be a good partner in this class. It just helps a lot. And I really have not, I've had a few situations where I've had to contact people myself. But typically what I do is I usually say to the person, hey, have you seen this person yet? Have you told them what you're telling me? And typically they'll say, well, no, I haven't said that. So we're adults, we're adult learners. And so your first point would be to, if you're having a problem, very respectfully, very nicely say, can you explain to me if let's say someone's not contacting you, turn around to the person, write them a note and say something like, can you explain to me what you would expect from us as partners in communication? Because maybe their communication style is completely different from yours. And so first seek to understand where they're at and where they're coming from. And that makes things better. And sometimes it's always surprising to think, oh, this person only has time for class on Thursday nights. And, you just don't know. So anyways, that's all I have to say about that. We are, as I said, we're going into our third week already, our third week of class. And let's see. So we have our webinar, our live virtual, not a webinar, our virtual meeting on Tuesday night. That's March 21st. Either it's going to be 6 or 7:30. And be prepared with a 3-minute. You don't need to have any presentation, but you do need to have some bullet points that you're going to be talking about. So we'll start the discussion off, and maybe with some impressions of the video and maybe some thoughts, and then we'll ask you to dive deeper for your 3 minutes, because it goes by really fast. Some of the best discussions I have ever had, believe it or not, are about this topic, about Proposition 13 and the worst to first video. It's because it really touches home when people start taking the arts away and start taking funding away from schools. You're also going to be talking about, in your discussion board, you're going to be talking about collective bargaining. And one of the differences between education and many other jobs in the public sector is the job protection for our teachers, which I absolutely 100% agree with. I've in my 18 years of being an administrator, something like that, I've had 2 grievances. Both of them have lasted maybe one lasted 5 minutes, and it was something they had to do. They had to file on me because we had too many kids in a class and I couldn't get a teacher in there in time, so they filed it on me. And then the other one was because I wasn't paying the teachers the right way per contract for an online class they were taking. So I was just educated. I just called the union person and said, hey, can you help me to understand this? And that grievance lasted about 10 minutes. Believe it or not, they timed them. They put a time elapse on how long things get to resolve. So the point is with the contracts and collective bargaining is to just make sure you know your contract. And a contract is not a gotcha. Again, these are not gotchas. A contract is an agreement that you have as a teacher and you have with an administrator. Or when you become an administrator, it's an agreement you have with teachers. So if you always think of it like that, you're not going to come up with the problems that people have about go around the contract or do things against teachers, because you look at it as, hey, we agreed to this. Hours and hours and hours have gone into creating this document. Therefore, it's a document that needs to be respected. So that's my take on collective bargaining, and is sometimes it hinders a lot of the work we want to do. It really does. I mean, even from a teacher's perspective, my sister, I think I mentioned in one of the classes that my teacher is a union rep up in San Francisco area, or she's the union president, I think, for the district now. And so we always have some great conversations about things. And it is something I'm glad we have the union, because it protects our teachers in case we have people that want to, get rid of teachers. And but on the other side, sometimes the union will come in with things that are maybe not the best thing for kids in order to push their agenda further. And I totally understand that as well. So the work that we have to do is to make sure we're understanding where each people are coming from. Okay, so anyways, that's my talk for tonight, and I'm hoping everyone's doing well, and I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night at 6. So if you could try logging in about 10 minutes to 6, just so we're all ready to go by 6. Have your microphone, and then remember, if you have to call in, please do call in if you need to do the call-ins. And we don't have anything to be uploaded this time, but we'll talk about uploading later for the next class. I'll talk next week or something about that. So you're going to either come on at 6 or 7:20. Right? If you have any questions, please contact me. I'm hoping I'm staying up with everybody, if any of your questions, but please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me, okay? Even after the class ends, I've had people contact me afterwards. Alrighty, I look forward to talking to you on Tuesday night. All right, take care.